In my opinion, our society changed forever back in 2014 when NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell decided to cave to outside pressure and reverse the suspension of Baltimore Ravens running back Ray Rice from a 2-game suspension to an indefinite suspension, which effectively blackballed Ray Rice from the NFL. This occurred only after the video of the domestic dispute between Ray Rice and his soon-to-be wife was released to the public, a video that Goodell and the rest of the NFL had access to prior to making that decision about the initial suspension, a video that depicted beat for beat the same story that Ray Rice described to the Ravens, the NFL, and eventually to the public. No lies were told, no truth was hidden. The NFL knew exactly what was on that tape and felt 2 games was an appropriate punishment for Ray Rice's wrongdoing. Now, Goodell knew what happened that night, and honestly the rest of America knew what happened that night. Yet when the video was released, there was all of a sudden some new sense of virtue, and everyone decided to say, "Oh, I care now that I actually saw it." And to be fair, Goodell had no idea what he was doing that day that he switched the suspension. No one in the country knew what he was doing. Even people like me who at the time said this is a dangerous precedent to set, we didn't understand how far this decision would ripple over the years. See, Goodell didn't just give in to pressure. Goodell effectively made the NFL a moral authority in our country. The NFL, a multi-billion-dollar company ran on entertainment and sports, made the declaration that above opinion, above our own justice system, we are going to hold employees accountable for doing the quote-unquote right thing. Now, up until this point, a lot of businesses were only held to one standard, and that was the standard of profit. These companies operated with an amoral sense of direction, doing what they thought would help the bottom line. They were apolitical. And honestly, the people expected nothing more or nothing less from them. But after this day, one of the most visible companies in the country took what looked to be a moral stance. And 6 years later, we live in a place where every single decision by a company is held to a standard that must be above board. It must be above racism. It must be above homophobia. It must be above gender exclusion. And when things are happening out in the streets, your company no longer gets to be a utopian oasis away from politics. You need to pick a side, and you need to make it known, because we the people know that we have the power to push you into action. And the people do have this power, because on the national stage, they did it to one of the most powerful companies in our country. And so now in 2020, as we look back, we look at social media, we look at the power of the boycott and the cancel culture and the movement. And for right or wrong, whichever you feel about it, in my opinion, it started that day with Roger Goodell.